Over the last 5 years, I've built a franchise that started with just 16 kids. And this term alone, we've had over 2,600 kids participate in our programs. In this video, I'm going to share the 8 most powerful business tips that took me 5 years to learn so you can apply them instantly and skip the trial and error. Because most business owners waste years learning these lessons the hard way, losing money, time, and sleep, trying to figure it out all on their own. So stick with me because I'm going to give you a step-by-step checklist of what actually moves the needle in your business. From mastering your numbers, to marketing, to sales, so you can shortcut your growth and build faster. Now, I've been in business. I've been very fortunate to be in business for 6 years now. I started back at 2018 and I've started very young at 20 years old. If somebody came up to me when I started in 2018 and said to me, Emile, I'm going to give you this holy grail. In this holy grail is 8 tenets, 8 tips, 8 things you need to know about how to run a business that's going to save you years, 6 years plus of trial and error. Would you like to buy it? I'd get my wallet out. I'd say, how much do you want? $2,000, $3,000, $4,000? Here you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the 8 most powerful business lessons that I have learned in 6 years of running a business. It's going to be in under 15 minutes and I'm not charging you $4,000. Let's get into tip number 1. So to make this video even better, some of these tips, I've got a book that I recommend you read that I've read myself because there's only so much depth I can go into. If you struggle with one of these points, I highly recommend you read the book that I'm going to give to you because it's probably the best book on that topic. Now, let's get into tip number 1. Tip number 1, understand your financial numbers in your business and understand and learn how to read a basic profit and loss statement. This is so important. This took me years how to figure out what profit is, what's gross profit margins, right? What's net profit margins? What's the difference between net profit margins and gross profit margins? And by the way, if you're listening to that and you're like, wow, I don't know, this is probably the most important tip for you. I'm so surprised. There's business owners, 5, 10, 15, 20 years that still don't understand what their margins are of the business, how to read a profit and loss statement. And I'll never forget this story. I remember I sat down with my mum after a class. We had about 30 kids. And after the class, I was calculating on the napkin when we were going out for our celebratory lunch, how much profit we made. I thought I made a lot of profit, over $2,000, $3,000. And when I calculated everything, court hire, wages, marketing, expenses, it was only a couple $100. And boy, was that an eye-opener to me to say, Neil, you really need to understand how to know the numbers or how to read the numbers. And the best business owners understand the numbers of their business back to front. Okay, you need to understand all those numbers because if you don't understand the financial health of your business, you aren't going to be able to make good decisions. You're not going to know if you're on track or not. You're not going to know if you're profitable this year. It's a disaster. It's like not going for a health checkup. And the doctor says here, your heart, you need to start working, man. Your heart, you got too much cholesterol. And you're like, oh, what does that mean? It's disastrous for your business. So you need to understand the financial numbers of your business. The book that I recommend that I read a couple of years ago is Number Phobic. It's by a lady, correct me, Dawn Fotopoulos. Excuse me if I said that wrong. Number Phobic. It's a really simple book for dummies that don't understand business numbers. I highly recommend you read that book if you don't understand financial numbers or if you don't know how to read a profit and loss statement. That's tip number 1. Now, don't forget, we've got a whole bunch of other tips. There's 8 here. Let's move to tip number 2. Tip number 2, you must track every dollar that comes into your business and every dollar that comes out of your business. The best business owners in the world, they understand all their numbers. They've got a spreadsheet that tracks all of their expenses. They know every single dollar that's coming into their business and they know every single dollar that's coming out of their business. And they track all of their expenses like a hawk. On a spreadsheet, nothing gets missed. You know what novice business owners do? They don't even know how much money's in their account. They see an expense. What was that for? $150. What was that? My gosh, I'm low. I've got less than $1,000 in the account. How am I going to do a marketing expenditure? You need to get into the habit of tracking every single dollar. Because you know what? There's a saying that goes, what gets measured gets managed. I guarantee you, if you track every dollar that comes into your account, watch your bank account, watch your business grow, not by doing anything different, but because you're paying close attention to all the money coming in and all the money coming out. I've got bank notifications on my app that shows all money coming in and all money coming out, just to make sure I'm on top of everything. So track every dollar that comes into your account. Now we're going to move to tip number 3, which is tied into tip number 2. Let's get into it. Tip number 3 is you must have a budget, right? Now I'm not going to complicate having a budget for you as a business owner. It took me about 2 years to actually have a budget, right? All you need to do is have a spreadsheet. One column is all the items or expenses that you pay for. The other column is how much you pay for them. And then at the end of there, you should get what's called a yearly nut. That is how much outlay, what your overhead expenses is per year. Whenever you take on a new expense, a new subscription, or a new recurring bill, you got to update that spreadsheet, right? So you should be able to know exactly, my yearly overhead expense is X amount of dollars. If I generate X amount of revenue, I'm profitable by whatever. But you need to have a budget that has all these expenses outlined. But here's the thing, that's part 1. Part 2 is you've got to stay disciplined to that budget. You must stay disciplined. If you've allocated, for example, $2,000 on software expenses and another bright and shiny software comes up for $4,000, don't go down there. Look for cheaper alternatives. You've got to stay disciplined when you're following a budget. I've got a budget and I review it every single month. You've got to review it. That's a third thing. You have to review your budget. Don't just set a budget and check it next year. That's what so many people do. You know, they get into the new financial year. All right, I'm going to start budgeting. They get a budget and then I guess when they review it, December of next year, and they realize, oh my God, my numbers are out of whack. You got to update your budget monthly. Go over it. What can you cut? What have you added? And try keep that budget, maintain it. Try maintain it, right? To the best you can. Try not to add more expenses because a lot of businesses, when they grow, their expenses grow exponentially and they suffer from a term called growing broke. You want to stay disciplined to your budget, set it and review it monthly. Let's move on to the next tip. Tip number 4, create a scoreboard and track it daily. I want to give you an example. Let's say we're playing a game of basketball, right? Me and another team, and we're not tracking the score. Do you think the intensity of the game is going to be high? Nah, people are probably walking up and down the court, joking. All of a sudden, when we start tracking the score, we say first team to 21 wins, the intensity goes up, right? The level of gameplay, the competitiveness goes up. And that's like that in any sports, right? When you're tracking a score, when you're tracking a number, instantly that we focus on that number and that number goes up. But when there's in sports, when it's a friendly competition and there's no score, the energy and the intensity of the game is like, I don't care, who cares? We're not tracking anything. So what you want to be able to do is you want to create a scoreboard for your business. What's on that scoreboard is key data metrics, about 5 or 6 key numbers in your business that you need to track every single day. And you must update that scoreboard daily. If you can't do it, hire someone to update that scoreboard daily and check it every single day. Remember the saying, what gets measured gets managed. In any business, there's about 5 or 6 key data metrics that really move the needle of the business. For my business, when I'm looking at it, ours is enrollments per location. I've got somebody that updates every single day how many enrollments I am on at my location. My total enrollments are then broken down into my different categories for my programs. And then my head coach announces on the WhatsApp chat how many enrollments we're on today, whether we're in positive or negative compared to yesterday. And we do this every single day. Just process that for a second. Every single day, Monday to Friday, those numbers get updated and my head coach puts an announcement on our chat. Why do I do that? It is the North Star of our business. I know that if I track this number religiously and every single day, everybody will just focus on it more. And where focus goes, energy flows. Everyone's going to be focusing on that number and that number will naturally go up. For example, if someone wants to lose weight, and there's one person that's tracking their weight every morning when they wake up at 7 a.m. and the other person's tracking their weight only once a week. The person that's tracking every single day is going to lose weight faster because they are measuring their number and they can make change. If the person that's tracking weekly, they might put on 2 kilos and not realize that till a week after. So when you're tracking a number, you can focus on your efforts to make sure that those numbers are going up. All you need to do is create a spreadsheet, list your 5 key data metrics, whatever they are for your business. It might change. We've got enrollments. I track enrollments. I track renewal rate, how many customers are coming back, churn rate, and a couple of other metrics as well. Update it every day at 9 a.m. If you can't do it, hire a VA to update it, announce it to everybody that influences that number. Anybody that has control over that number, it should be announced to everybody, and create a scorecard and watch that number go up in your business. If you want a really good book to read, I've got one here. It's called The Great Game of Business by Jack Stack. It talks about creating a scorecard for your business. Probably one of the best business books that you can read. Have a read of it. Let's move to the next tip. Hey, just quickly, if you want to see if there's an available territory to own a Little Boomers basketball franchise in, click the link below to our map and see if there's a location near you. Tip number 5, do a time audit, a personal time audit right now in your business. As a business owner, when I first started for my first 2 years, I thought being busy was the goal. I got to be busy. I don't want any white space on my calendar. I got to write things down, just get it all done. It's a bit of a dopamine hit when we've got a busy day, when we've got back-to-back appointments and there's no white space. Little did I know, you can be busy doing the wrong things in your business. You can be busy doing activities that aren't bringing revenue in the company. You can be busy doing activities that you shouldn't be doing and that you should be delegating. So what I did for me personally is I did a time audit for an entire week. I tracked every activity I did in the business from Monday to Sunday, what that activity was, how much time I spent on it, and then it created me a chart. And that chart showed me where I was allocating my time in my business. And I couldn't believe it. When you actually stop to look at it, I was spending like 30 to 40% of my time on administration tasks, responding to emails, text messages, phone calls. Literally 30 to 40% of my time in a week was spent getting back to people, right? And the percentage of time of working on the business or doing activities that could bring revenue was only 10%. So I was only spending 10% of my time doing activities that can bring the company revenue. That's what my time audit revealed. So you know what I did straight away? I removed that 30%, I outsourced, I delegated, I brought on a team to handle the administration side of things so that I can work on the high level stuff that's going to move the needle in my business. But don't get caught in the trap of being busy. I speak to a lot of business owners. How's everything been? Yeah, I've been busy. What have you been doing? What's been busy? Oh man, I've got invoicing, I've got payroll. So why are you doing invoicing and payroll? That's not activities that you should be doing as a business owner. So get a time audit done, find out where you're spending your time, outsource it, and focus on activities that are going to bring you, your company, revenue into your business. And if you want a really good book about how to do a time audit and how to buy back your time, purchase the book. It's actually called Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. I just read it. It's an incredible book. It's going to show you how to save time, how to work on things that you love in your business. And it's a fantastic book. I've actually implemented a lot of the strategies, so go have a read of it, buy back your time. Tip number 6 of what I wish I knew in my holy grail when I started in 2018, become a pro at marketing. Now, very early on, when I wanted to make videos, because I was getting on top of the social media game, I wanted to start posting on Facebook and Instagram. TikTok wasn't around there. I would post videos, and boy, was I awkward on camera. I was awkward. Sometimes my words didn't make sense. I would get shy. Eventually, I made video after video after video. Now I can naturally speak on camera. I know how to run ads now on Facebook, on Instagram, on Meta, on Google Ads. I learned all of that from scratch. I became very good at marketing. And you as a business owner must become a pro at marketing, because marketing is the blood flow of your business. You know, in the human body, how blood moves everything around? Marketing is the lifeline of your business. If you don't have good marketing, strong marketing, if you don't know how to do Facebook and Instagram ads, if you don't know how to post organically on social media, if you don't know how to produce fun, interactive videos that engages with your audience, that demonstrates your value, boy, business is going to be really hard for you. But what happens is a lot of people just go straight to an agency. I don't want to take care of marketing. Let my agency do it. I don't want to take care of it. The problem with that is it is going to be very hard for you to determine whether your agency is actually doing a good job or not if you don't know how to do marketing yourself. And as a business owner, the number one thing you need to be doing is marketing your business. That is why you are here. Only you know your product and service better than anybody in the world. Only you have 100% conviction that your product or service is the best in the world. So you need to become really good at marketing before you outsource it. You need to know how to post videos, how to create engaging videos. You need to learn how to do digital ads, Facebook, Instagram, Google ads. You need to have a baseline of all that before you go to an agency. And I learned all of that from the get-go, and now I've become very proficient at it. I'm able to help other people do it as well. So that's a really important tip. Become a pro at marketing. Let's move to the next tip. Tip number 7 is start to build recurring income. You know, in 2025, which one's easier? Is it easier to have an existing customer purchase from you again? Or is it easier to find a new customer that has never purchased from you before? The first answer, right? It is so much easier to have an existing customer purchase from you. In 2025, it costs a lot of money to acquire a new customer for your product or service. Everybody's bidding. Everybody's competing against each other. But if you have your existing clientele, you want to make sure that you've got some type of recurring business model. Because if your business model relies on new customers every single time, I got to get new customers, I got to find new customers, you're not going to be in business for long. You need to have recurring income. A subscription model is the way to go in 2025. In fact, 70% of service-based businesses are subscription-based. You need to build a recurring income model, a subscription model into your business. Something that is on repeat like clockwork. You get paid monthly, you get paid fortnightly, you get paid quarterly. Because it's very hard and your business will not sustain if every time you get a customer, they only purchase from you once and now you have to find another one. It's going to be a very, very, very difficult game of business. In our industry, we're very fortunate. We've created our rollover membership system. It's an automatic debiting system that debits parents every single term. We have 4 terms per year. So we get paid from a parent every single 3 months. And that happens like clockwork. So we've built a reoccurring stream of income for our franchisees. But whatever product or service you have to think creatively for this. Use ChatGPT. You got to figure out how you can implement a subscription-based model into your business model so that you're not fighting for a new customer every single day. Tip number 8, you need to learn how to sell. I don't care if you're an introvert. I don't care if you're an extrovert. But a lot of people say, I'm introverted. I don't know how to speak on the phone. I don't know how to sell. Your business, the heart and soul of your business is marketing and sales. That's why businesses go bankrupt, right? There's no money coming in. There's no cash coming in. There's no sales. There's no marketing. You need to learn quickly how to become a pro at sales, how to talk confidently on the phone, how to present, how to handle objections in your business, right? And early on when I started, if somebody asked me an objection, or told me something, I didn't know what to say. I would ramble on. I would start talking for 5 minutes. You need to become a pro, a salesman pro in your business, because your business as a founder, as an owner, relies on you bringing sales in. That's what I focus right now at my level. I'm all at sales, especially at franchise recruitment. I don't outsource that. That's me speaking to someone. I'm speaking to somebody that's trusting me with $55,000 to franchise. I got to be able to talk to them confidently, handle their objections, handle their hesitations, right? You need to become a pro at sales. And one of the best books that I read very early on, it's an old book, but it's from a legend. I'm going to get it for you right now. It's called How to Master the Art of Selling by Tom Hopkins. That's the only book that you need on selling. Read it and apply it. It'll tell you how to handle objections, even little things like your hand placement, how to position your body, your tone of voice, all those little subtleties that demonstrate confidence when you're speaking to a potential client. So you've got to learn how to sell. So that brings us to the end, guys, of this video. Now, here's the thing. Don't be a nougat. Don't implement all 8 of these, because you're not going to be able to implement all 8 of these. You're going to get decision paralysis and none of them are going to get implemented. So what I want you to do is pick one of those tips that you think is your greatest area that you need to work on, or your weakness. Pick one of those and nail it down for the next 30, 90 days. Don't do them all. Pick one tip, research, read 3 books on it, the one that I gave you, and 2 other books, and work on that craft, work on that tip for the next 90 days. And then once you've got that down pat, you can move on to the next tip. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.